Oh, there you go, Tana Coco. How's it going? I'm down in Narrawahia today. Unfortunately, the weather's a bit dodgy, so talking to you in the car at the moment. But we're doing a subdivision down here at the moment. It's green fields, which means that it looks like this. Where are we? So it kind of starts just there, basically where that pink, you can see the pink clothesline just kind of in behind there, and then there's a subdivision next door where they've put the, get the zoom so I can see something, that that fence has been put in by a developer that's doing a development right next door, and so that's our boundary. He's very kindly done all that for us. So this is for those of you who don't know, this is called a greenfield subdivision because it's green fields. So this is going to be, and it runs through across to just to that first fence over there. So this is going to be 23 houses in reasonably due course. But the reason that I wanted to mention it to you was just to reinforce the benefits, if you like, of being honest, especially for those of you who have aspirations as property finders or traders, because the story of this deal is quite interesting in the sense of this, that I can't remember actually where I saw the land, where I saw it advertised. I suspect on Trade Me. Anyway, I inquired about it. Turned out that it was being sold by a couple who many of you will know in New Zealand anyway, Derek and Robin Masters, who are professional, property finders and traders, and quite similar activity to me. And so I'd been going on about Narrawahia, as those of you who hear me speak will know. I think it's great, so I was looking for something to do down here, and so we did some due diligence on it, and basically the price that we needed to pay for it to make the deal work was pretty much what Derek and Robin had it under contract for. So there wasn't enough fat in it from our point of view to do a double settlement, or sorry, to get on the end of a double settlement or whatever. So what Derek and Robin did was that in the end they just said, well, take over the contract, and I paid them a fee. So rather than them being greedy or letting the whole thing fall over, they took what they could, as it were, and that enabled us to go unconditional and purchase the land. But then what they did, the next thing was that the land, when I showed you around, there's actually two lots of land. There's another bit of land behind. So after we'd got this first lot under, I'm not sure what was going on their end because I haven't asked them, but they came back and said, well, we've got another bit of land under contract that butts up directly to that one, and we're just waiting for it to be rezoned. And so so we've been sitting there for some time waiting to see if the rezoning would happen, and it has. So in that case, and again, I haven't got a clue what they paid for the land, how much is in it for them, but we are just doing a double settlement and have just gone unconditional, or are about to go unconditional on that deal as well, as soon as the council confirms that the zoning is through. So my point in that is that, first of all, this is probably going to end up being the best deal I've ever done after Rotorua by the time I get to the end of it. There's a lot to do. We've got to build 23 houses, put a road in. It's not exactly a small project, but because so I've bought a really good deal, or two good deals if you like, off of a finder. So that's my first thing. For those of you who get all weird about spending money on finder's fees, you really need to get over that, because people like me and Derek and Robin and many others can find better deals than the average punter. So it's worth getting on the end of those deals when they work. But the other thing is that because Derek and Robin were quite upfront and transparent and honest with me about the first deal, and in the end let me take it over for a fee, that created a degree of trust between me and them. So with this second lot, I didn't even go back and say I wanted it to get the price down or whatever, but it's fractionally higher than I'd like to pay in terms of the number of sites that I can get out of the land, but not enough to worry about. And so because they were faithful, if you like, or honest with me with the first deal, I can trust them with the second. And then if they bought me anything else, I would look at it more seriously than almost anything else, anything that came from another source. And so I find with the people that I deal with, I try and be the same way, so that people, if what they get off me is a good deal, they're going to be happy to get another one. So I just share that with you. I thought it was important that the whole thing about integrity that I know I go on and on and on about, but this is just yet another example of where, for another property finders or property traders, through them being honest and having integrity, that's enabled them to put 2 deals my way, and the degree of trust that I have with them is high, where I would buy off them again. So those of you who aspire to that type of relationship, or where you want to be in that space, particularly as a finder, just recognise the value in that. It was funny, I had one of my agents ring me this morning, and he'd been talking, how do I tell you the story briefly? About a year ago, I came in contact with a guy who had his head in a very bad space. He had enough income and enough property and enough money to get into real trouble, if you know what I mean. And he was looking at buying a house that he really couldn't afford and didn't need, and selling his rentals. So I was working with him. Another real estate agent had put me onto him, so I was working with him to try and help him. He was very gullible's the wrong word, but if you sowed a thought in his mind or told him he should do something, he would do it. He was easily led, I guess you'd say. So he looked at this house, and the agent was really hammering him to try and get him to buy it unconditionally. So that's at the point I got involved. So I started talking to the agent and was trying to exit this guy from the situation, and I said to him, look, let me put an offer, and I put a lower offer, and that bit's all a bit long. But anyway, this agent, she lied to me. She was totally dishonest. She's quite very, very well known in East Auckland, but was just a liar. It's as simple as that. So in the end, she went behind my back, managed to get this guy unconditional. He's ended up having to buy this property he can't afford. We're still trying to sort his whole situation out. So this woman's just made it much worse. So since then, I've bought several properties, some of which I've traded, in the area where that agent generally operates. So the agent that I've bought a lot of those deals off in that part of East Auckland bumped into this other agent yesterday, and the other agent said, oh, you're working with that guy Dean Letfuss, and my mate said, yep, kind of why are you asking, or whatever. And she said, oh, I've got no issue with him, I just didn't understand. And Roger's saying, what do you mean? She just said, oh, I just didn't know. She said, I thought he was going to be a time waster or whatever. So what she's doing now is trying to kind of get back in my good books, because I've bought several $1 million worth of property off of this other agent in an area where she is actively selling property. And I made the comment to my mate that you can spend years building up a good reputation, and in 30 seconds you can destroy it. I would never deal with this agent, and I'm very vocal in telling other people and naming her, because she's just dishonest. She shouldn't be in real estate. So and when you're trading and when you're finding, and with any of those areas, if you're successful at it, someone's going to dislike you anyway, so you don't want to give them any ammunition. But if you're just transparent with stuff, if something doesn't work, if you find something out, I've had 2 or 3 deals recently where I've been dealing with one particular developer, and deal after deal, there's been something a bit odd at the last minute, or that we've uncovered a bit further down the track. And fortunately, because I'm always honest with the guy, he knows that I'm not hiding anything, But if I was a bit dodgy, he would be quite I wouldn't be selling him the property that I am. So when you stuff something up, it can really be hard to get back to square one again, or to get back on top of that. So remember that. You know, I know, as I say, I go on about this all of the time, but it's just because it is important. If you're going to be bent, then your investing is not going to be successful, and you're going to have to be constantly looking for new people to deal with, because the people that you've burnt will never come near you again. And that's not any way to live your life, and it's not any way to build a business. So there you go, thought for the day from Dean in Narrawahia, and not much else I can think of to say or to show you. I'll keep you posted on the development as it goes on. I don't know how many months it will be before there's anything to show you, but eventually this will be a road, and I'm going to name it Joy Nick Road, because my dad died of cancer a couple of years ago, who was known as Nick, and my mother Joy has already survived 2 brain tumours and recently breast cancer, and so I just thought it'd be nice to always have something with their names on it for posterity. Look after yourself, and we'll do this again tomorrow. Bye.